Good morning and welcome to 30 Days of Transformation, Building Better Mental Health, Resilience, and Authentic Thriving. It's nice to have you here. Today's day 5. And today what I'd like to do is break down, yesterday I talked about Samkalpa, or taking a firm intention or making a commitment. And today I want to break that down a little bit. I talked about Samkalpa yesterday with the concepts of cultivating self-compassion or self-kindness, building positive habits, and then applying this compassionate self-discipline to be able to carry through, to be able to carry it forward. And so today I want to take, and tomorrow and the next day, I want to take these 3 parts, the self-compassion part today, and tomorrow we'll look at positive habit building, and then on Tuesday we'll look at compassionate self-discipline. So in this conversation about self-compassion, I want to bring in the concept, of course, from the yoga tradition called ahimsa. Ahimsa is the first step of the yamas and niyamas. So it's sort of foundational. It's sort of the beginning of the yogic path, is this idea of applying non-harming. Ahimsa does not mean non-violence, by the way. That's a mistranslation, because when you think about violence, violence is bad, but also nature is violent. Thunderstorms are violent and tsunamis are violent. So violence is like sort of part of the fabric of prakriti, or of nature, whereas harming implies an intention. So we have the capacity to pull back from our violent impulses, and to apply a sense of kindness or compassion. And ahimsa is not just about other people, it's also about ourselves. I mean, primarily the way it's conceptualized in terms of the Yoga Sutra, it has to do with other beings. But when we take that concept and we direct it towards ourselves, we realize we're part of this prakriti, we're part of this manifested universe. And so applying self-kindness to ourselves is also critical. It's also, it's the first step on the path. A lot of people don't get to that step on the path. And the reason is that they can't get through the layers, the thick layers of shame or guilt, or feelings of inadequacy that have been imposed by the culture or their family situation or the traumas in their life. So we have to start with that place of like trying to chip away at some of that and getting deeper into our hearts so that we can come to a place of kindness to ourselves. Because without that, the rest of it just feels like more punishment. I was teaching a meditation class, and a woman came to the class and she kept saying, meditation is so hard. I can't meditate. It's just so hard, and it's so dry and painful and, unpleasant for me. And I felt so much for her, because I could see how much she understood the importance and the power of the practices, but she couldn't get over this hump of the duty that she felt in it, and that is our conditioning. It comes from the samskaras, the deep conditioning that many of us have experienced. And so rather than engaging in practices that help to lift us up, we get to a place where we can't do it because it just feels like something else on the to-do list, and we'd rather just numb out with Netflix and wine, and not that there's anything wrong with I just finished watching The Crown. It was great. There's anything wrong with engaging in those activities, but those activities are different activities than the kind of practices that help to build our sense of self, our sense of energy, and our capacity to make transformative changes in our life and in the world, right? So we have to differentiate between those kinds of, these kinds of practices, and then things we do just because we need to relax and numb out. Those are different skill sets. And I don't know if Netflix is a skill set, but different applications, right? Different practices. So being very clear that the practices, the integrated practices of yoga, the practices of yamas and niyamas, the practice of asana and pranayama and meditation, those practices are really self-care practices. And we can frame them, if we can reframe them self-care, then we can come to a place where we understand what we're doing for ourselves is kindness. It's not duty. It's a different thing. And you start small, right? So, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow, about cultivating those positive habits. So, but today I want to talk about the counterpart of, I should say that the opposite, the antidote of some of that negative self-talk, which is cultivating those positive self-talk. So having your sticky notes, whatever they are, your sticky notes, and putting them around your house that just have simple affirmations on them that are applicable to you. So you can't take somebody else's affirmation. It has to be really specific. So you're dealing with, for example, feelings of insecurity or inadequacy, and having a sticky note on your mirror in the bathroom that says, I am enough, or I am good the way I am. Something that makes sense for you is going to help to cultivate that positive self-talk. So when the messages come in, and by the way, you should understand, the scientists say 80 to 90% of our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors are below the level of consciousness. They are intrinsic subconscious behaviors. And so when those things bubble up, our job is to notice them. And then that's how we can make the shift. We have to notice it first. So I've got that feeling of I'm not good enough or whatever. That was one for me that was really strong in my life for many years, was I'm not good enough. And I really worked at it. And we have to counter it. We have to counter it with a force. The yogis call it pratipaksha bhavanam. You counter it, you take the opposite, you counter it. And the cognitive behavioral therapists would call it reframing or cognitive reframing. So it's it's a practice that's not just in the yoga tradition. It's taken from the yoga tradition and it's moved out into psychology, so it's out there. So cultivating positive self-talk. And the third bullet point today is support. You got to find those supportive people in your life who are like, yes, I love you and I want to help you change. Right now I'm working with a very close person in my life who's working really hard to change some addictive patterns and behaviors. And I guess you could say service, but my intention really, because I don't even think about it as service, my intention is just support. And so we created a pact, and every day I send her a text, and every day she has to send me a text back. And that's our little support thing. And sometimes we talk on the phone, and it's like, I feel like I need that support myself, and I also need to give that support, right? So it's not just about taking it, but how are you also giving it? So support is for yourself. You've got to find support, and you also have to give support, because that's really where you start making the shift, that it's going both ways. It's a two-way street always, right? So I'd like to ask you today, thank you so much for being here, by the way. I'd like to ask you today to leave a comment. So when you feel overwhelmed by some doubt or self-shame or feelings of negative self-talk, then what do you do? How do you notice it? And what do you do to shift out of it? Because I know all of us have our strategies, and when we can share them in community, we can support other people, then we're learning from that. So I'd like you to use this as an opportunity to share, and also as an opportunity to see what other people are doing that are helpful for you. So I mentioned for myself, it's very helpful to use those sticky notes, or just have the reminder, at least when something crops up, I can remember. Sometimes I use mantra. Mantra is also a really powerful way to counteract some of that effect. So please leave a note in the comments, and tomorrow we'll be talking about cultivating positive habits. So, and if you want to leave any notes about if these videos are helpful for you, I really would appreciate that too. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.